This is title assurances and recordings, and I think we're going to stop before easements, but if this is super short, then we might keep going. So we'll see. All right, so there needs to be a recording system so that we can find what's happening with our deeds. So the common law rule, we look at prior in time. And the recording acts are in general, because there's a lot of issues. Mechanics of recording. So you file a copy, and then there is an indexing or a title search. So one way to do this is through grantor and grantee indexes. So basically you look at the grantee and you follow the chain from the grantee back. So from the grantee to the grantor to that grantor and then back. So you follow it, who it was, the grantee was. And then once you get probably back, well, sometimes there's a statutory period, so you don't have to go back crazy amounts of time, but other times you have to go back to when the state owned the property. And if that's the case, you go all the way back to that time, and then you go back through and you look at the grantor. So who was the grantor? The state granted to blah. And then that person granted to blah, and you follow it back through, and that should give you a full wraparound picture of what happened. But it doesn't. Sometimes. The doctrine of indem sonanas, like a banana, but with only one A. The doctrine of indem sonanas. That's not how it's spelled. S-O-N-A-N-S. Names like that of record owner. Okay, so the name is crazy because it helps us understand that if a record owner, names like that of the record owner spelled differently but pronounced alike give constructive notice if they start with the same letter. You could be poring over a grantor book for hours and say, we're good. And then they could say, no, you had noticed, but it was the wrong name. What? No. There's also a tract index, and this is all documents pertaining to a certain parcel of property, and it's all on one page. That sounds better to me. Just saying. All right, types of recording acts. Race status, notice status, and race notice. So, I don't know why this is right here. We should be talking about a lot of other things, but here's the deal. When someone records a deed, they are giving notice to all subsequent buyers, conveyors, and all substantive grantees of that property that they have a stake in that property. Okay? A recording act does not make it void or voidable or not void. It doesn't give credence to a deed. If a deed is fraudulently done, that's a totally different thing, and recording doesn't make it valid. So that's what it doesn't do. Failure to record could mean that if your grantor is not cool and he grants it to someone else and they record and you do not, it could be like you're not there and you could lose the property. I mean, that could happen anyway. Sorry. But prior in time is going to have supremacy, but the recorder is going to give credence. So record your stuff. Just do it. Anyway, going on. So chain of title problems. So this is where we're going to talk. Well, we'll do that in a minute. There are problems. So there's a problem called a wild deed. A wild deed is a problem because it doesn't give notice, even though you recorded. What I just said, record. Okay. So a wild deed is deemed unrecorded. A wild deed is deemed unrecorded. A wild deed is when O gives to A gives to B, but then O gives it again to C. C then records. So A didn't record and B didn't record. So when O gets it from C, they see nothing. And C thinks it's theirs. So we look at C and we say, who is C going to fight with? C is a subsequent purchaser, and he is going to fight with B because B has the land now. So who's first in time? That would be B. Who is the subsequent? That is C. So we look, does C have constructive notice? So if someone recorded, he would know because he saw it. When you get property, you're said to have looked at the title, chain of title. So you should know. If someone recorded, you would know. Does C ever have constructive notice of B? No, because B didn't record. No, that's not the scenario. I apologize. O to A, then A to B. B records. O to then C. It wasn't O's to give again, but he did anyway. C records. The fight is between B and C. B is first. C is subsequent. Does C have constructive notice of B's recording? Even if B recorded, C doesn't, because C is going to look, and they're going to look at O. And then they're going to look back from O, and then they're going to look forward to O. And they are not going to see B because O didn't give to B, A gave to B. A track index would solve this, though, because when they see the parcel, they will see that B recorded on that parcel. So most of the time, no, but a track index will. So wild deed, no notice. Wild deed, no notice. A deed recorded too late. In jurisdiction, too late, yes. In jurisdictions requiring an extended search, there will be notice, but in a jurisdiction that does not require an extended search, then no. So deed recorded too late, extend, yes. No extension, no extension, extend, yes. That's how you remember it. It doesn't make no sense. I'm just trying to help. Okay, in this case, it would be O to A, then O to B, B knows of A and is a donee. So B is not a bona fide purchaser, giving him a little less help, but B records because B is a dirty dog. That's what we call B, a dirty dog. And then A records. Then B gives to C. So the fight becomes between A and C, because those are the two that have it last. Who is a subsequent purchaser? That is C. Who is a bona fide purchaser? C is a bona fide purchaser, even though B was not, but doesn't matter. C is a bona fide purchaser. Did C have constructive notice of A's recording? No, because we stop in time at our grantor, and B recorded first. So because B recorded first, they're not gonna look. They're not gonna look for future past his grant. A tract index, though, will solve this because everything on that land parcel will be on that land. So this puts us in what's called the shelter rule. And the shelter rule means that even though B wasn't a bona fide purchaser, C is sheltered from that because that bona fide purchase shelters. We're going to ask on that just to make sure. But, okay. So if there was an extended search where you have to like look further, then they would have notice. If deed is deemed unrecorded for purposes of notice, it is deemed unrecorded for purposes of race. And I'm going to keep going and then I'll go back to why that's the case. And I might move it in my outline. And then there's the last problem of chain is a deed recorded too early. And this is a estoppel by deed, not with quitclaim. So if A gives to B in a general warranty, B records, and then okay, so A gives to B with a general warranty, B records, but A doesn't have it yet. Because then after B records, O gives the property to A, which automatically goes to B because she's already given the property by a general warranty. So when O gives it to A records, because A is a dirty dog too. And then A goes on and gives it to C because she's a dirty, dirty dog. And then C records. So now the fight is between B and C. So the reason this only works with a general warranty is because if A gave to B with a quitclaim, out of luck, B, you got no guarantees to that property. You took it as is, and she got nothing, so you got nothing. So the reason why it's a general warranty is because it comes with the 6 covenants, and possession is a covenant, or season is a covenant. So, okay, A to B, general warranty, B records. Then O finally gives it to A. It automatically goes to B, but A records. And then A gives it to C, because she's a dirty dog. And then C records. The fight becomes with C, because that's, and then B, who is subsequent, C is subsequent. Does C have notice of B's recording? No. Because C is looking at A and then looking at O and then looking past, and there's no record of B. So, in the majority, a deed recorded too early is deemed unrecorded for notice and race. A deed recorded too early is deemed unrecorded for notice and race. Does a track index solve this? Yes! Why doesn't everyone have track indexes? And a backward search is not required. Okay. Now we're going to jump back to kind of my favorite, because this is kind of good. So, when you record, we're going to use O to A to B, O to C. Okay. So, O to A to B, O to C. In a race status. So now the fight is between B and C. Okay. You have O to A to B. Then O, dirty dog O, gives to C. So the fight, I shouldn't draw it that way. The fight is between B and C, because they're the ones who think they have this property. Okay? Then, so you always want to look at the subsequent Okay. The first in time has the property. So the first in time in this case is B. So then when there is a subsequent purchaser, the question is, can the subsequent purchaser, which is C, defeat the first in time? So now they're in a battle. They're in a battle. And this battle is better than paper, rock, scissors, let me tell you. So when you're looking at this battle, you need to look at the subsequent purchaser. Subsequent purchaser. Got it? Look at the subsequent purchaser. And it's got to be a bona fide purchaser. If O gives this land to C, you got nothing. Don't matter. Record, don't record, rate, whatever. It's got to be a bona fide subsequent purchaser. Bona fide subsequent purchaser. Okay. I am really tired. That's probably why I'm going a little nuts. So, it depends on the jurisdiction. If you are in a race jurisdiction, which is the minority of the minority, so that's not, but it's whoever records first, if C records first, they win the race. If C records first, they win the race. In a race jurisdiction, which is the by far minority, looking at the subsequent purchaser, C will win if they record first. Period. Okay? Period. If you are in a notice jurisdiction, then we look at the subsequent purchaser, subsequent bona fide purchaser, and we say, did C have notice by looking at the title that B had the title? Now we're saying that no one has recorded in this situation, so C would win. But if O was a dirty dog and C was in cahoots, and C knew that B, they had notice that B had this land, C doesn't get it. We aren't giving dirty dogs the land. No. So if there is a way that C could have had notice, if she knew about B, no land for her. Not in a notice district. Not in a notice. And then the last one is race notice. Same thing. We're looking at C. Did C know about B? In this case, we're going to say, no, she did not. Then she's got to record. So if she didn't know about B and she records first, C gets the property. If C knew about B, no property. If C didn't know about B, but B records first, B wins. Because C has to not know and record first. If that doesn't happen for C, B gets it. You can't have one without the other. And we were looking at the subsequent purchaser. We are not doing this analysis to B. B is there. B has it unless C can win. C can win in a race, C can win in a notice, or C can win in race notice. But C has to fulfill those requirements to win. B does nothing. Just take a nap. Take a nap. Plot revenge. Doesn't matter. Okay. That's going to come up over and over and over. That's why we spent a crazy amount of time on it. But it's important. Okay. Common owner. Common owner of two or more parcels includes in conveyance of one parcel. I'm going to read the hypo because I'm not sure I get it. O to A Blackacre with an easement over Whiteacre. O still owns Whiteacre. Oh, okay. So when there's one grantor has 2 parcels, and then the grantor says, I'm going to give this parcel away. So one grantor owns 2 parcels and then severs it. A records deed for Blackacre, and then O gives B Whiteacre. B records. Is Whiteacre subject to A's, okay, O to A, O, okay, Blackacre with easement. Over Whiteacre. O still owns Whiteacre. A records deed. And records. O to B for Whiteacre. B records. Is Whiteacre subject to A's easement? No. B has no notice. The track index does not resolve. Because B is not going to look at the track index for Blackacre. Why would they? And then we'll go into the easement. But for just this type of thing, no. There would be no notice. And so they would not be subject. I don't know why that's right there. Because it goes with the common owner, but that's weird. Okay. Title insurance. There's 2 types of policies. There's lender insurance and owner insurance. Most insurers check the title first. Coverage is limited to policy amounts, which becomes problematic due to appreciation. Policy identifies covered risks. The insurer identifies the insurer has a duty to defend grantee against lawful litigation. If the grantee wins, the grantor doesn't have to pay. But if the grantee loses, the grantor has to pay. Lenders' policies are assignable to other lenders. Insurer required to perform search. This is required in some states. Basically, they're insuring the title. They're saying, we've checked it, it's good, and they are guaranteeing. There's the common losses for title insurance are if a deed is not delivered, there's a forgery, a mechanic's lien, or property tax owned. And there's title fixes, curative acts. These are instruments defective due to lack of acknowledgement, seal, date, or lack of delivery conclusively deemed valid after they are in the records for some specified period of time. So if it's been there for 60 years, we're going to call it good. That's not what I'm, that hypo. Statutes cut off certain old rights after a passage of time. Owner may need to re-record rights. If not, the right may be cut off. So like re-recording an easement, because if it's 60 years down the road, you may need to re-record. Marketable title acts. These cut off interest in land which appear in public records prior to a given point unless some reference made to them more recently recorded. Look for valid instruments that go back clear 40 years. And then there's this thing called a torrent system. And it's not doing so well, so the future success is doubtful, but it's voluntary reservation. It shows quiet title actions. The court ordered land registered and a certificate of title issued. It's computerized. It could be cool. It's not. Darn. This is going to be a shorter video because I'm going to try to do the rest in the next one. Happy property!